Hello, 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 hello. This is our session for our song Songs for Parties. I'm Kyle. Have a band called CHiPS with my friend Emma. And this is our acoustic ballad that we put on our otherwise super heavy record. But every album needs one of these types of songs. The genesis of this song was that I was just feeling lonely one day, I guess, and I just started picking up. I picked up my guitar and started playing. I was playing Zelda, the new Tears of the Kingdom, and I was thinking, oh, you know what I've always loved is from the original Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, was the sound that from the fairy fountain, I'm sure you've all heard that song before, but it's basically it's just the rhythm is something and I like to if I'm trying to come up with ideas, I'll always try to write songs on acoustic guitar because it's if I can write a song on this thing and then make it into what we make it, then I know it's gonna be a song and it actually can hold up. And we tried to do it for most of our songs, but sometimes you just need a crazy beat, and I Want More. Then you you just go with the beat. But so I was just I just mess around on guitar, and I like to put the capo. I'll put the capo on random places just to hear and that's kind of how some of these songs come around, is because you're just hearing you're playing the same stuff you're always playing, but now that's from Ricochet, and that's capo down one more, but that just it's that interesting new sound inspired writing the song. And so this one, just fucking around, honestly. Started just messing around with this, just playing. I mean, it's so simple. And that's totally not what they play in the Zelda fairy thing, but it's totally the kind of vibe that they had, just the walking down melody. And I knew that I just wanted to keep that melody on here somewhere, just keep it all around there. And it was one of those things where if you're a creative, I'm sure you've been through this, where you're hey, I'll remember this and pick it up later, and then you never do it. Well, this was the opposite. I was it was 3 a.m. and I was playing this, and I was okay, if I don't record this right now, I'm never gonna do this. Then I was you know what, I'm feeling really inspired right now, I'm just gonna free riff into an SM57 and just super shitty vocal, just off the cuff, whatever I got. And then I just laid something down, and then I went to bed basically. And I was hey, what do you think of this? I'm putting this out on a acoustic record I'm doing. And she's dude, we need to put this in CHiPS. And so started working on it as if it was a CHiPS song, which I'm kind of glad that we did that, because it took it to another level. What we got here is we have 3 acoustic tracks. And even though they all sound like guitar, they're not all guitars. So we have the lead track, which I showed already, acoustic guitar. Then we have a lead guitar part, playing a very simple line. And then we have this, which sounds like a guitar, but it's actually an instrument called a guzen, which my friend he had one, and he's just I'm just gonna give you this guzen because I don't want to keep storing it. And I was okay. And I basically was I'm how am I gonna make a use this instrument in any of my music? And here we are, we got it. All right, take 10, because my mom forgot to record. All right, this is a guzheng. It's beautiful. All right, so how you play a guzheng is on this right side, you strum the notes, and on this side, you can like bend the notes to get what note you're trying to do. And basically, it's really fucking hard to play. And so, in this song, what I did was very simple. I would just bend it to give it a little bit of vibe. This song is like a purely effect-based song. And to like what that means is like if I play you these 3 tracks, it's the parts, obviously, but like it just has no, like it doesn't have any of what the feeling is of what we were trying to convey or the vibe or anything. It just sounds like a bunch of like guitars sitting on top of each other. And so how like to develop that into an interesting part, we created 3 effects tracks. And what those effects tracks do is basically one's a reverb to give it like that super washy space, and then you have 2 different types of delays. One of them, and I don't know why I did this, this is like something I've never done in my life. One of them was done with an altar boy, where I pitched it up, like just link, super high, transpose, full wet. It creates like a weird, really high echo, which I'll play for you right now. Now in like by itself, and this is the echo it's going through, it's just echo boy, quarter note with some feedback, echoplex, low cut, nothing crazy. On its own, it sounds really weird, but like adding it in to the mix of whatever everything else that's happening, it gives it like that kind of like high detail vibey clarity. So if I play these 2 lead parts together, and I'll crank this thing up for a sec. Like it's got a really weird sound. But like that's what makes it cool, is that it just makes it like, what the hell is that? It's like this like weird like, and it creates this like really like weird like recycle-y feeling where it just like makes a whole bunch of chaos. So that's one of the effects. The other effect is just a straight up echo, which is this 8th note echo, feedback, echoplex again, low cut again, nothing else. I'm gonna put like 2 EQs just to cut out a bunch of the high end, and those 2 delay. Here, I'll play that delay now on this one instrument so you can really hear it. So that's like really what the part is. The part isn't like what I'm playing, because this is what I'm playing on the guzheng. It's super basic, but this, so I like, it's like kind of a weird like case in this song where I'm not really playing something that complicated, but I'm using like the technology to give it the feeling that now, like as one's fading out, like the next note's coming in, and it's creating like another like dimension, kind of like folding into one another, which you can't technically, I mean, I guess you could do if you're like one of those crazy TikTok guitar players, but I ain't. So, and so here are the 2 delays together. And here's like the super crazy ones turned up a lot. Like it just adds like this weird thing, but it makes it, because without it, it's just like boring as oh heck. We got 87 milliseconds of pre-delay, which what that does is that basically from when the dry signal comes in, and dry means the acoustic guitar, like what I played, that's the dry signal. When that hits the vintage verb, it takes 87 milliseconds for the verb to turn on. But when the delay now hits that reverb, there's the delay, and then there's another delay before the delay hits the reverb. And it's just like creates motion real quick together. So now it's like we're in space. There isn't necessarily a chorus, but it's like you want it to feel like it's always like on the incline. By adding in these elements and having it develop over time, it makes it feel like it is on that incline, like you're not just going like stagnant in some place or whatever. Listen to your voice. And the lead vocals, the same thing. The song's all about like the vibe. This is something that I learned from our mixer Craig, is that having slow echoes create like these really like beautiful feels to what's happening, especially with vocals. A quarter note dot that's almost up to a half note, and then we have a half note, so they're kind of like right near each other, so the vocal is like this kind of like really close bounce back effect. In the context of what the song is, it makes it feel really good. Like it adds to the whole vibe of what this is. Trying to like find a way to express like what we were feeling when we made this. When you feel isolated from the world, you can often feel like you're being like, I don't know, like under the pressure of water, or like the walls are closing in, as I say in this song. But it's like essentially it's like creating not like a stress element, but in a way kind of a stress element where you feel like whoa, sorry. The walls are closing in. So like as everything's playing out, like if I get all the instrumentation here with the vocal, you're creating like that stress, like of like you can't really tell what's happening, but there's like a weird sonic thing happening that is freaking you out. Break it down. The walls are closing in. So we come to the last thing of this song, which is I sent this song to Craig. Says this needs a bass. I got to this place with this. And I was like, okay, this is definitely helping. But but then I was like, you know what? Like this isn't enough now. It just felt like too like weird now for me. Like it just felt like, okay, like if we're gonna add in this kind of stuff, like it's too out of left field. This like simple like add bass, like literally it took me like 4 or 5 hours to like come up with these 4 tracks, because it's like it's like you're at the finish line of the song, and now like you're like kind of having to like rework it and rethink it, and you've already heard it so many times like the other way that everything you're doing is just like kind of frustrating. And now you get this like nice like kind of like you kind of get it all. You got the music, the melodies, and yeah, it definitely helped, and I'm glad I did it. But it was way more challenging. Like I know like these parts sound so simple, like anyone who does music can like literally hold these notes down on a keyboard and whatever. But it's just like finding like the right feeling, I guess, for what this song is. Because if I like play this with the vocal, like it still feels good. It still feels like it's part of this song. It doesn't feel like I just like threw in a bass just to have a bass. Break it down. The walls are closing in. Soothe my mind. So, yeah. Let's just hear a little bit. You Anyways, doing the vocal, I had to like, because I'm not as strong as a singer as Emma is, and so doing the vocal, I had to like develop it in a way that I would feel comfortable singing it, but it also is like developing and growing. And so like I started out lower because it felt that it was a good place for me to sing, but also it gave me room to go up. And we always want to like make the video, like have the vocal go up into like this big, like where you feel the strongest singing, to like that's where like the biggest moment is in the hit. And so like the challenge was finding a melody that was like not boring. And originally that kind of melody, like sit alone again, was kind of like how the first vocal went. Such a hard part to sing. Now here's the big moment. But I know you never break it down. The walls are closing in. Soothe my mind. Like it is like this like kind of like vocal that's like asking like, or like proclaiming out into the universe, like why is this like this, and how can I fix this, and all these different things. And it has like the emotion in it, and it's like I know you never break it down. The walls are closing in. Soothe my mind. I remember on that one, the Soothe My Mind, like I sang this so many times. How my voice is right now, it's like a little hoarse because I was not singing good form. Okay, oops. Had that like little like craggly in it, so I was like, all right, you know what? It works. Emma saw it before I saw it, but like clearly she saw that I was trying to make something that like meant a lot to me, and her encouraging me to do that made me get to do this, because I wouldn't have done that, and I spent probably like 2 days just doing my vocal. Like you make these things to make you feel better, and for me, like making this song made me feel better. And I know it's like sounds like crazy to say, but it's just like when I was hammered at 3 a.m. playing this like Zelda fairy song, and then I made this, basically it was like, okay, like I feel better, because at the end of this song I say it's all calm. And that's how I felt. I felt like relaxed, because when I started it I was definitely not relaxed. I was like freaking out in a way. I felt like the walls like were closing in. Out of that like weirdness came this thing, and for no money, for whatever, I wanted to do it, and I was compelled to do it. And that's what being an artist is. And that's why we made this entire record. We have one more song going to come out, and that's like all we have really for the foreseeable future. And it was fun, it was awesome, but like we really didn't get anything from it. But yet we're still, Emma and I are on the phone every single day being like, all right, how can we make more? Or how can I make our YouTube videos better, or whatever? And it's like, that's like what being a creator is. And I think that people who are really passionate about this kind of stuff, like, and creators and whatever, you're gonna find a lane where you like work, and if you love doing it, you're just never gonna stop doing it. Like, that's the reality. Even if you have to like work shitty other jobs and do all this other crap, like, which is just necessary in our life, but like you're gonna always come back to this thing that you're passionate about and do it. And that's kind of like what this song, I guess, ultimately means to me, because even though it's about like physically about like just a relationship I had, it's really more than that. It's about like being able to sit alone and wither but be persistent and know that at the end of the day, like, you're gonna be fine and it's gonna be all calm. And all of our songs, I do think, are positive songs. You know, it's like that's part of growing, and that's part of this. It's like everything. It's like, can I do this every single day of my life? Right now, no. And every time I ever sing this song, if I ever am lucky enough to like, get to do it like for real, it's like it'll probably always be somewhat different, but I know that I got to this, and hopefully it's something that like a song like over time people will resonate with, and like all of our songs, like you hope that it resonates with people. But in like the only thing that you really can affect in your life is yourself, and we're out here affecting ourselves positively and trying to create things and look into ourselves and make ourselves better people. And I think I've rambled on for quite enough time, so I just want to say that you guys are amazing. We're got one more song come out called Always Bloom, and that song is nuts and it's beautiful, and I think it's the perfect way to end what this journey is. And no matter what happens, you're good, and you just gotta work through it and keep going and keep doing the things that you love to do and be around the people you love, support the people you love, and the world will be a better place at the end of the day, and you will feel better. So thank you guys. We love you. Goodbye.
Listen to